Are you working in the e-mobility industry and trying to figure out how to put together Parker ECH coolant hose and VDA fittings? Stay tuned. We have a solution for you. I'm Carl with BarbTech Tools. BarbTech Tools has been an innovator in the push lock hose assembly industry. And now we have a new tool designed specifically for your application. So a little bit about the tool and the different parts of it to be able to put together this hose product, which can at times take up to 250 psi of pressure just to push those fittings into that hose. So we have, starting out with a system of a quick change mandrel to be able to hold the different style fittings. These basically just slip on to support the fittings during the installation process. We have designed a clamp system for the hose that has changeable jaws, has three different sizes of jaws to grip the three different sizes of hoses. Parker ECH cooling hose, it comes in three different sizes. They're 14, 18, and 22 millimeter. It's a pretty rigid hose. It was designed that way to minimize the amount of supports that have to happen between fitting and when it's, especially like in a vehicle. The bad part is it makes it tough to push these fittings in because you can see the end of the hose doesn't want to flex very much. So let's just show you how to do this. So our jaws have a marker on them for recommended length of how far the hose is supposed to stick out beyond the end. If you go too far out, the hose will have a tendency to fold when you're pushing the fitting in, and too close, the fitting will hit against the jaws before the installation is final. So it's pretty simple, just to put a mark. Set the clamp. So 14 millimeter hose is one of the toughest. That's why we're doing this this way. But it needs to be pre-stretched a little bit to be able to get these fittings to go in. One of the things that I didn't do is a deburr. So there's an O-ring on the end of this fitting right after the taper that if you don't deburr the end of the hose, there's a good chance it will either cut the O-ring or drag it and won't create a complete seal. So our best solution is one of these little deburring tools. You can see the thread that's left, and it creates a chamfer on the inside. So once you start pushing the fitting in, the chamfer clears that O-ring and moves on up the fitting. So we'll go ahead and reload the hose here again. Tighten down the clamp. So another thing that has to happen with 14 millimeter is our pre-stretch. So for that, we use a hydraulic tubing expander to start the process. It's install it. So we have to do two different sizes. We start out with a 5/8 diameter expander to start the process. You can see it's expanded a little bit there. The hose has a little bit of a memory. It will try to go back to its original size. So we try to keep it in there for a minute or two. You can say it stays a little expanded. change to the larger one, it typically has to be pushed in place. So we actually just use the tool to push that in place. Close the hydraulic valve. I can release that. Pump this back up. You can see the expansion of the hose. So we'll let that sit for a minute. In the meantime, we'll get our mandrel ready to go. And we use, for all of our installations of fittings in all of the Parflex ECH hose, we use a, it's called P80. It's a water-soluble lubricant specifically for the hydraulic and hose industry. Makes it easy to assemble hoses onto fittings, but it doesn't leave an oily residue which can compromise the ability of the fitting to stay gripped. So I think we're good. We'll drop the expander out, put the fitting into place, run the fitting up to the hose, and start the installation process. Goes right up to the shoulder, pretty effortlessly. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to push these in compared to the probably 250 psi that had to happen here. Release it, and your installation is done. Again, the larger hose diameters, 18 and 22 millimeter, they're kind of nice because they don't require the having to have the pre-expansion tool, and they go a little bit faster. But that gives you an overview of the process to put of how the tool works and what it takes to put these fittings in correctly. Are you ready to streamline your assembly process? Visit barbtechtools.com to learn more about the BarbTech ECH hose assembly tool and how it can help you improve efficiency in your projects. Contact us today to learn more about solutions for the e-mobility industry.